defeated by Hitler and the Nazis. Begin by watching this video. So I put this little reminder, like review video on about the kinds of conflict that we talked about earlier in the year. Period 3 actually helped you out because we wrote them on the sideboard over there, internal and external, so if you need to look at that. I would suggest looking at this really quickly before you try the activity. So start by watching the video, grab some headphones, watch the video, and then what the rest of the Google slide does is try to tell you, or try to get you to analyze each of the characters. So what I want you to do, the first slide's all about the Frank family. You have Anne, Mr. Frank, Mrs. Frank, Margaret Frank. They're asking you here, what are some of the conflicts that each of these characters has faced in the story, in the play. Then you have to decide if it's internal or external. And here's where I want you to use that language that you will be expected to use in high school, Severe, right? Yeah. Okay? So I want you to say internal conflicts because this happened, or external conflicts because of this. So give your reasoning there. Then you have to say, is it character versus character, or character versus society? Again, the video kind of goes over those for you. So you're going to do that for Anne, Mr. Frank, Mrs. Frank, Margaret Frank, and then the second slide is Mr. Van Dan, Mrs. Van Dan, Peter. Meep and Mr. Krill I put together so you could kind of, I think a lot of their conflicts are the same, but they do have some individual. So put what you want in there, and then Mr. Dussel. What are some of his conflicts? So the reason I'm having you do this is because I want you to get into the heads of these characters. You're going to have to think, like somebody, second period said, well, Mr. Frank doesn't have any conflicts. I'm like, really? Because he's kind of the leader the whole time. He has to have some conflicts, right? So get inside his head and think, what did he have to struggle with? What did he face? What did he have to figure out? Those are going to give you the answers to the conflicts. So then what we're going to do is after we're all done, we will go back to Mentimeter on Monday, and we'll see if you still think Anne Frank deserves most of our sympathy. Savannah's saying no. Okay? So this is why I want you to do this, is to kind of analyze, to see what were they really facing, see if you can figure it out. All right, what questions do you have? Mikey, questions? Anybody have any questions? All right, you may work with one other person or on your own. Just highly recommended. You can stop it now.